because they hadn't come my way, just saying.
Not me either.
The hell, just letting you know.
No, we won't stop.
Tommy Shelby has survived so much, betrayal, war, power, loss. What drives him, and what does the introduction of Beckett mean to Tommy?
Well, I think when we find him, he's a bit lost, he's a bit isolated, you know, and he is completely withdrawn from the world. And I think it's a combination of that sort of triumvirate of Beckett, Kaulo, and Duke that kind of draw him back into the world. And then it sort of just takes its own kind of energy from there, you know, and that's when he realizes kind of, I guess, what his purpose is, and he figures out what his ultimate goal might be. But up until that point, he's just lost, really.
I think his odds of survival would be much lower if Beckett hadn't showed up.
True, yeah.
When you start to collapse in on yourself, he might not have made it, you know. So it gave him it and his boy. And Beckett's arrival, and he had to come out. He had to come back. He had to come back and play.
What is it like coming to something with such a loyal fan base? Like, when I was getting ready to come here, I was watching one of the wedding shows doing my makeup, and somebody was having a Peaky Blinders themed wedding. I mean, people are,
it's huge.
They have tattoos, you know, people are like really, they're set, they're locked and loaded.
I feel like I live under a rock sometimes. I mean, I've watched the first 2 seasons, and I'm a fan of Cillian. I know haven't read many scripts from Stephen, because they hadn't come my way, just saying.
Not me either.
The hell, just letting you know.
No, we won't stop.
There's the fan base, and it's the world outside of the actual sort of cinematic world when we're filming. And I try and not merge them. So when I go in, I'm excited for the moment, and I'm nervous for the moments. And you know, knowing Barry was a part of it, I didn't get to work with Tim, but those are the moments that I yearn for. And then the fact that there's a fan base that's made it possible to make this, and I know that Cillian wants to make it for them. Yeah. I kind of try and separate myself from it. Yeah. But it's exciting, and I think the film is amazing for people who have seen it, and for people like me. It's a standalone.
It is, yeah. It is. It is. When I read it, I was like attached to it completely. I did, but even then, seeing it, I was just blown away. I really was. It's beautiful. It's extraordinary.
And then we get to be in the pub. Like, it's cool.
I know.
We're new people in an environment that we've seen.
Yeah.
And it's like...
iconic.
Yeah.
Cillian, can you tell me about, you know, working with Barry and the way the father-son relationship develops? Yeah. And the fight scene. But anyway, very...
Well, it's a story of abandonment in many ways, you know, and also a story of succession and living in the shadow of a powerful father figure. So it was a tricky part to cast and a tricky part to play. And so Barry was always our first choice. And apparently I texted him on Father's Day. I was unaware that it was Father's Day, I think.
He's a little baby too.
He
right?
does.
He's got that.
He does.
Oh my God.
I've known Barry for a long time, and you know, we worked together, and I've just, you know, watched him go from strength to strength. He's remarkable when you put a camera on him, you know. And it was great to, you know, those scenes were really important in the storytelling, because we don't know where each of them stands at each point. You know, whether they're loyal or whether they're disloyal at any point, or whether they love each other, whether they don't love each other, whether they're in it for themselves or whether they're in it for each other. And you just never know. And it keeps shifting. And that's, again, great writing, you know.
And great for us, as, you know, as the audience, you know.
Hopefully.
Barry, you've said in the past that you've always wanted to be a part of the Peaky Blinders, but no character, like, fit your description. Yeah. So what really resonated with you about Duke?
The relationship between him and his father, you know, just I found that just gorgeous to read, and you know, troubled, and you know, I wanted to explore, and like obviously wanting to work with Cillian when you get sent the Peaky Blinders script is amazing. But I was always a fan and wanting to get a part of it, and through Shaheen Beige, you know, of getting cast in it, and there was nothing ever that really like connected, or if it did, then I wasn't available, or so it kind of came around the right time with Father's Day and dropping Cillian a text, Happy Father's Day, and he's like, do you want to play my son in Peaky Blinders?
That's amazing.
You'll get every actor now.
Happy Mother's Day, and he went, do you want to have a role?
Happy Mom's Day, he's like, what?
at first glanced him, Beckett is this businessman. You can see there's a little bit of darkness. He doesn't want to get his hands too dirty, though. How does he fit into the world of the Peaky Blinders?
I mean, originally it wasn't written in that way.
Okay.
He was much more sort of upper class, but my feeling was that he wouldn't have been able to talk to these guys. He wouldn't have been able to communicate if he remained at that. So we changed him, and it became. He's a nice guy. I mean, he's quite reasonable. He's absolute. He's the good guy as far as he's concerned, and an absolute fascist. So, but he's there to end a war. He's gonna stop this madness. Mm-hmm. And then he comes into contact with Barry's character, and there's a weird fatherly side that does emerge. Whether or not that's real is for the audience to decide. But that comes into play, and that's also what happens from, I suppose, from Shelby's side. So the battle over the boy in a weird way.
Yeah.
That's kind of weird, actually.
Yeah, but it's completely true.
Yeah. There's a child involved, as much as you can call Barry a child.
Rebecca, your character, she comes in as, let's say, a woman of mystery. Mm-hmm. So how does she fit into the world of the Peaky Blinders? And what was it like to be emotionally connecting with Cillian's character, Tommy, on screen?
Stephen writes so well. Mm-hmm. So she fits in because Stephen has fit her in. She has an arc, she has a story, she has an agenda, she has purpose. But she fits into his world because she's other natural. She comes from another world somehow. And I think what was important was when we talked about the accent, I can't possibly even try a Brummy accent. So when we looked at doing her sort of Romanian, it put her in another perspective of this show. Mm-hmm. Like she was further away from it, which was interesting. I love that. Yeah, and it was no threat. There was nothing that he had seen or been a part of. So when she came in at a very vulnerable state for him, he talks a lot about what happens to a man who's gone through trauma when you silence everything and you sit alone in your thoughts. It activates everything, and whether it's ghosts or memories or thoughts. And she knows this is the perfect moment to enter, to activate something that she needs to be done. Yeah, and the merge just happened very well.
Wow, you just telling me that, I feel activated.
Yeah. No, honestly, though,
that's why you're good
right.
at what you do. Barry, you spoke a little bit about the father-son dynamic on screen with Cillian. Talk to me about the evolution of it, without giving too much of the story away,
I mean, again, being on set and sort of in a chronological way, those moments that were happening, which was really, really good, but just absorbing it all and watching Cillian in person and see him switch that, the physicality on and how he uses that walk. And, I wanted to make a purpose choice of I'm going to behave like him in a way and make it look forced as Duke. Like, make it look like I'm trying to be...
Impersonate.
Yeah, and then be my true self and with a little vulnerability when he's there. When my dad
There's a difference as well, isn't it? But it's a difference seeing someone who's walked a character for 12 years.
Yeah.
It's so rooted, when someone walks in and stands in front of you and they've done it and they own it.
Yeah.
There's a presence, and then you have to be now a new hurdle.
Yeah.
For him to want to walk over or work with. Mm-hmm. What is the new you?
Yeah.
That's it. What is the new you? I like
Love that.
Tim, were you a fan of the series beforehand?
So I hadn't seen the show.
Oh, okay.
I bumped into him when he was filming it, and I was filming some other things, and we'd worked together, and I'd worked with some of the actors that had been involved in it, and I knew of the fascination for it. Mm-hmm. I knew all of that stuff, and I also thought it looked cool. But I had to make a decision when Cillian asked me to do it. I had to make a decision on whether I watched or not. I was tempted to, but I decided not to. So I came into it completely fresh. So now I'm going to watch it as opposed to doing it before. So I just walked into this world with these characters, and they're wild, and I had a blast. Such a fun time.
Fun for us too.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank
Appreciate
you.
your time.